Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Dana. Today in this video I'm going to be yapping about a whole bunch of different things, mostly cartoons. And for kind of a background, I am painting backgrounds. I'm doing gouache studies, like scene studies from the show Mission Hill. Now, this footage has been recorded pretty much over a year and a couple of months. This is something I started in 2024, and I have just continued to do it since, and I still have even more paintings planned because it's always important to practice. In this video, I'm using Bristol board and an Arteza, I don't know, jelly gouache set. In some of the paintings, I just use the black gouache for the lining or the line art, and in other paintings, I use Dr. Martin's ink for the line art, which it says on the bottle that it's matte, but I see in some of the paintings, it kind of gives it like a glossy look in the end, like some of them have a little bit of a sheen to it. I don't know what I prefer better. So part of my whole motivation for even doing these paintings to begin with is that I don't paint a lot. It's really not my comfort zone. Gouache is a medium I've always been super interested in ever since I started illustrating. I really love the way it looks, and there are just some illustrators I really admire and I really look up to that are just masterful in it. And I just feel like I haven't found my stride. I think I work best, and this is part of why I chose this subject for these paintings, is I work best in flats. Putting down my flat colors, then building on that. And I think that's how there are a few gouache painters I've seen that work that way and make it work really well. But yeah, it's just a medium I've always been interested in. I'm not the strongest in it, so it's always great to practice. So that's why I did painting, but also why am I doing backgrounds? It's because I never do backgrounds. I'm bad at backgrounds. It's not my strong suit. And I feel like I see a lot of channels on here, okay, let's just get into the controversy. I feel like ever since I got on YouTube as a wee youngin', and I was watching YouTubers in the art space, there's always been the discourse on copying. And when is it okay, when is it not okay, and blah blah blah. I feel like I learn a lot from copying, and I feel like it's where a lot of my interests even come from. It's like I loved cartoons so much as a kid, and I just want to draw those cartoon characters. I want to learn how to draw those cartoon characters. And I think there are a lot of like cartoonists that kind of operate that way. And I do think, to me, these are master studies. I'm studying someone who's a master at this. So I'm just trying to learn the best way. And even still, I feel like when you copy something, when you're basing something off of something else, because of you as an artist, it's going to look a little bit different. There's going to be something about it that's only you. Now, like, if you're copying art that is not for like educational or growth purposes, and you're just like putting it out there as like, oh yes, this is my own original idea, then whatever. So I'm doing a master study from backgrounds of Mission Hill, stills that I've taken while I was watching the show. So yeah, perspective and backgrounds are not my strong suit. It's not something I do a lot, but I love cartoons so much. And I feel like a lot of the times when I see people do background art or scene studies or whatever, a lot of times they go to movies, like live action movies, which is great, and I do that as well. I think it's great for if you're looking for composition, like good scene composition, movies are a great one to go to for that. And I also see a lot of plein air. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go do plein air paintings, I'm gonna do a plein air challenge, or it's, oh, here are some images I found on Pinterest, now I'm gonna try to simplify them into a background. I feel like I see a lot of like concept artists do that. I feel like I'm just not even good from the get, so I gotta study ones that I like. I show in this video that I also did some goosebumps studies in a little sketchbook, and I don't know if I'll include it, but recently I also did some other sketchbook studies that were like small little backgrounds from other cartoons, like Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, lots of Craig McCracken stuff, but it was like early 2000s, my era cartoons. So yeah, to me, I am hoping that this is a jumping off point for me, is that I learn and grow. I'll be honest with you, I do not love some of these paintings. Some I like more than others, but I definitely see growth is the thing, and I think that's what's important, is I see strengths and I see weaknesses and I see points of growth. So I'm hoping that this could be a jumping off point, and that maybe one day I, go out, take pictures, do plein air or whatever, and translate it to my own style. Like, I want to really learn from what these people I admire are doing with their backgrounds. I really like simple shapes and bright colors is what I've learned, but usually a little bit more monochromatic. I like the monochromatic ones more than here's a bunch of colors. So usually nighttime scenes or like dusk and dawn, that's what I like the most. Yeah, I don't know. But I feel like if I try to do monochromatic with my own style, it's like I have to get better. I have to get better with values. I have to get better with my values. I feel like this is a struggle for so many artists. I know I'm not alone in this. I gotta get better at my values. I gotta get better at my contrast. And I feel like that's the one disappointing thing. I think these paintings turn out so great and I really like them, and then I scan them. It might just be that some of the colors I have in this palette or in this gouache set, they're like bright neon, which is very close to, this palette is like so perfect for what this show's color palette is, and it just doesn't translate. My scanner hates it. If people know about scanners and technology, please let me know down below. I mean, you should always go into Photoshop after you scan it still and like give her a little touch up, but it's like it mutes it so much. I'm like, ew, it gets super muddy, and I'm like, is that on me? Did I flop? Is that because I didn't get my values right? Because I think I get too focused on color matching. You can't turn on a black and white filter in real life. So I feel like I should talk about the show. I feel like that's a big part of why I want to make this video, is I want to talk about the show. So Mission Hill was a very short-lived adult cartoon from the early aughts. I'm pretty sure, and like I should look this up, but I'm very positive it's got two creators, and I want to say they both came from The Simpsons, which I feel like you can really see in just this show's color palette. And you might be like, what? I feel like The Simpsons has kind of this crazy style to it that's a little under the surface in a way. Like, I mean, obviously they're yellow, that's the biggest thing that I feel like people point out, but just look at the Simpsons house, like the interior of their house, the colors are crazy, and I feel like Mission Hill kind of takes that to a whole nother level. So I really do love the colors, and I especially love what they do with the colors in the show. I kind of already hinted at this or was talking about it, how I feel like I prefer a monochrome color scheme for background art. It just makes characters pop more in the foreground, and I feel like that's a strength with Mission Hill, is they subtly show you how like time of day changes by changing the colors. Like everything changes, not just the backgrounds, like the characters change colors as well to reflect that, rather than doing like shadows or something. It's like a complete color change, and I really like that, and I think it's so gorgeous, and it really elevates the show. So what even is Mission Hill? What is Mission Hill about? Mission Hill is an urban set cartoon about a character named Andy French, who's like 24, living with his roommates when his parents drop his younger brother Kevin on him, which is pretty much the pilot. He works at a waterbed store and he's an aspiring cartoonist. So when I watched this show for the first time, I was out of college. I lived in Brooklyn for 2 years, and now I was like back home with my parents. I got a retail job, but I went to school for illustration. So I feel like there's this huge conflict, or like internal conflict in the show. By the way, this is a comedy. This is a comedy show. It's not that serious. But I'm just talking about how it hit for me and how it was very relatable for me in the time that the place I was at. Because I was 23. I was watching the show, and I was 23, watching a 24-year-old character who also didn't have it together. I mean, he had an apartment, which is like better than I'm doing in some ways, you know. But I was like, oh my gosh, this character, aside from some like, I don't know, horny pervert tendencies, which I feel like is almost all male characters in like early 2000 things, is like horn dog. I'm a single male character in my 20s, like, yeah, I'm gonna be hitting on people and I'm gonna be super non-committal with my relationships. I feel like the show's critical of Andy's character for that though, which is good. But it just really hit for me. I was like, oh my god, he's 24, he wants to be a cartoonist, I'm 23, I wanted to be an illustrator, and then I just kind of went to school for this position or this interest in this field at the worst time in history, it seems. My first year of college was like, pandemic hit, and then right as soon as I was about to graduate, it's like, oh, we have this new technology, it's called AI, and it's gonna take all your jobs. Yeah, just really crazy times for me. But this show especially hit, just seeing someone who's like not where they want to be and kind of wavering in their aspirations. Obviously, that's not completely what the show's about. It has very one-off episodes, and I guess we can talk about that. I want to talk about my favorite episodes, at least episodes that really stand out to me. If you're interested in the show at all, which I really hope you are, just based off any of my descriptions, most of the episodes are all uploaded onto YouTube. Shh, you didn't hear that from me. But most of them are completely uploaded onto YouTube. And I want to say I saw it for free somewhere else. Or you can try to get your hands on a physical copy, which this one was gifted to me, which I appreciate and I'm so grateful for. But like I will say, I feel like the uploads on YouTube are a little low quality. Like, as things tend to be. And I think the DVD is pretty high quality. And I'll be honest, I have not listened to the commentary tracks. I'm just not that kind of person. As much as I love movies and I love TV shows and I love the making of them, I've never been the type of person to bring myself to watch a movie with the commentary track or watch a show with the commentary track. And I know so many people love it. It's very insightful. They find it fun. I don't know. It's just not my bag. So let's just talk about some episodes of Mission Hell. I have my DVD copy here for reference. Okay. I feel like a really early episode that is fun is Andy versus the Real World, or the alternative title, The Big Ass Viacom Lawsuit. And it's titled that because they name drop MTV throughout the whole episode. And it's a parody of The Real World. I feel like that's the start of MTV's like reality TV era. That is, I don't know, I feel like they're not so much successful in that. Like, I feel like other places have boomed with reality TV and they kind of faltered to, like, what is it? Rob Dyrdek, awesome, like, ridiculousness, there it is. But the whole premise is that Kevin finds this hidden tape collection of his brothers, thinking it's probably porn, and the roommates inform him that it's actually footage from when Andy was on The Real World. And I think it's a fun episode. Very, I don't know, characters in a TV show watching a TV show within the TV show. I don't know, it's a fun episode. The two unemployment episodes, the unemployment arc in season 1, I mean there's only one season, sadness. The arc of Andy's unemployment is so good. And they are I feel like those episodes have some of the best scenes. I want to say it was part 2 that really hit for me. There are so many scenes in it that are like, oh my god. If you have been out of college and you're like, oh my god, I'm looking for a job or whatever, you're young, you're in your 20s, there is like a super relatable scene in this show. There's like 2. And it also reminds me of a scene, I referenced it to a friend the other day. There's a scene in the Coen Brothers film, The Hudsucker Proxy, where Tim Robbins is looking for a job, just got out of college, he's moving to the big city, and he's looking for a job, and he's like in front of this like board, and it's like going through all the jobs, and you see this nowadays in the form of a LinkedIn, Indeed, whatever, and it's like, job needs 10 years of experience, job needs blah blah blah, like all these prerequisites for you to apply to the job, and you're like, bro, I just got out of college. I was told that I need to go to college to get a degree to get a job, and now these jobs are saying, oh, actually you need a job to get this job. And I feel like there's kind of similar humor in these 2 episodes, where one is it's like Andy while he's employed, and he's like talking about how his generation like was talking about not having jobs and like sticking it to the man and all this other stuff, but he's like, was everyone playing a joke on me because now they all have jobs? Like, I thought we were in on this together. I'm not quoting that right, but I'll obviously insert the clip.
My generation played a really mean trick on me. I thought we were all goofing off together, but everybody else snuck out to get rich while I was sleeping.
And there's another one where, and I've sent this to friends so many times, that it's like him in the elevator with all these other people his age, and they're like, well, I have a timeshare, and it's like, well, he's only in his 20s, and it's like all this other stuff is just like, well, if you don't get your foot in the door by blah 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 date, then you're not going to be able to retire when it's like very, I don't know, scary adult stuff, and how it feels like it, we've all talked about this. I feel like it's in the sphere. I've heard it so many times. It's like, nothing's a race, go at your own pace, blah 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 blah. But it's totally getting into that pressure of the grind, the rise and grind pressure, and how you have to meet all these goalposts at certain times. Obviously, we know this is not true, but you still feel that pressure, and that scene captures that so well.
So I closed escrow this weekend.
Cool. You can live there a couple years, and then when you're 26, leverage it for something bigger.
He's the hottest commercial director in town, and he's only 25.
Well, it's not everyone who can direct a talking chihuahua.
And it's sad, actually. He's 24 and still
It's
hasn't
true. You really have to get a foothold by your mid-20s.
He really missed the boat on that one.
It's only 25.
He's 24 and still
Get a
hasn't
foothold by your mid-20s.
Really missed the boat on that one.
Oh, a top tier episode that if you know anything from this show, which I doubt you do, but if you know anything from this show, because I remember this was a meme on Tumblr, hi, but this was a meme on Tumblr. It's Stories of Hope and Forgiveness. This episode is crazy. It's pretty much like everything crazy is going on in the world, and Andy does not know that it's occurring because he has a date with like a celebrity. So he's so focused on that it's like, oh my gosh, everything is going so right for me, that he is not realizing that there's like a world crisis. It's very vague on what the crisis is, I'm pretty sure. But there's this famous shot from the show. It's like him cheering. He's got like a, white shirt, tie on. He's like cheering, and there's like a big, like kind of Times Square center board behind him that says World in Crisis. And then the show finale, which I feel like it's such a bummer. You see the show finale, and it's like, God, it's a great one to end on, but it's also like, this show had so much potential and could have been so great. Plan 9 from Mission Hill, or I Married a Gay Man from Outer Space. So I probably should have said this sooner, but a huge reason Mission Hill is so important is because it's fairly early gay representation in animation, and it's dealt super non-judgmentally, and it never feels like they are the joke, or it's like, oh, it's funny. So you have like this skinny Tom Kenny nerd type, and his partner, like the juxtaposition partner, is a total rip on Tor Johnson. It's like a big, bulky, bald man, and that's totally why this episode exists. It's a play on, obviously, Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space. The episode starts, and Kevin gets really into like cult cinema and like old cinema, and he starts talking at the theater with Wally, who is Tom Kenny's character. He starts talking to Wally, who works at the theater, about movies, and Wally's like, oh yeah, well, I used to be a director. And they find his old copy of Plan 9 from Mission Hill. It's not, it's not specifically Plan 9 from Outer Space, but it pretty much is. And they kind of change the story to be like, that's how they met, that's how they fell in love. But Gus, the Tor Johnson character, is such a bad actor. And Wally was just so embarrassed by it that he never wanted to show it again. The whole episode's kind of the premise of like a midnight movie and doing a screening of a midnight movie and kind of the popularity of that. So for me, I was like, this episode was made for me. I love this kind of thing. Huge interest of mine. It's really cute. It's really sweet. And as I was trying to say, a huge reason why the show is important and people should talk about it and watch it is that it's super early gay representation. That's very positive. It just feels so earnest. And it's in this cartoon from the early aughts. And I feel like a lot of people were talking about, like, it's like Steven Universe and the Owl House, or like Ratburn and Arthur is like the credit for gay representation in modern cartoons, and that's so great, and we love to see it. And I mean, a lot of those are more like non-binary characters and trans characters, or, you know, lesbians, where this is like more traditionally gay, queer. It's important, and they're just such a cute couple. They're great characters. They're so sweet. I feel like that's where this show excels. It's like the side characters are just so good. I don't know, like, I don't know, I just love it. I love it. It's such a good show. The characters look great. The colors are incredible. It's fun. The theme songs, Cake. Cake just works for a theme song. I mean, Chuck has a Cake song for the theme. Come on, guys. It's those okays, it's those alrights. If you follow me on Instagram, which you should, I've posted reels for almost all of these paintings, and I tried to be really consistent and use Cake songs for all of them, because the theme of the show is Italian Leather Sofa by Cake. So I feel like I kind of exaggerated at the beginning of this video where I said that I had been filming this over a year. I mean, that is true. I unfortunately lost a lot of that older footage, so I did have footage of older paintings I had done, which I included in this video. I showed like the earlier couple of paintings that I did, and I just, unfortunately, the SD card got corrupted. I had to clear it all out, so that footage was lost. I do still have reels on my Instagram if you want to see some process video on those other paintings. You can check those out. Just not a long form process video, which sucks. Like, it was a blow, but like I kind of already said, I'm planning on doing more of these paintings, so like I would have had some footage eventually. During the process, like this most recent painting, you can already kind of tell I was like using washi tape. That was my last piece of Bristol board, so I procrastinated on this for a while, but I recently did a whole art store splurge where I got new Bristol board and I got blue painter's tape, among other things that I didn't need but I wanted. One of the things that I got was some like watercolor, like liquid watercolor, and I've never been a big underpainting person. It's just like not how I think about things. But for the next painting, I am considering maybe trying those out as like a base. Like, I'm very inspired by Furry Little Peach, to drop some like watercolor spots, get like a base color down, then do another. This might turn out horrendous. I don't know. I feel like this, whatever, the next one's gonna be a bit of experiment. I already have it sketched out. I don't know, I feel like this video is already running a little bit long, so I don't know if I want to include that in this video, this next painting, or if I want to make it a whole nother painting. I just don't know if I'll do the voiceover aspect again, because I feel like a big part of why I wanted to do this video was to talk and gush about Mission Hill, and I feel like I got that off my chest. But I feel like that was that was the whole idea behind this video, and then it took me a whole year to finally sit down and actually focus and get things done. And that's the big problem here. Is that initial hype and excitement I had about the show has kind of died down since. And it's been a while since I watched it. It's been over a year. I've rewatched some of those earlier episodes, but the later half of the first season, I haven't watched those in over a year. So it's not as fresh in my mind as it was when I initially had this project idea. I'm just impressed with myself that it's still going. And like I said, hopefully this practice turns into better skills down the line. I'm still, just even in this most recent sketch, I'm still struggling with perspective so much. I'll get there. But I'm hoping, this could inspire me to go out, look at something local, maybe an interesting local spot, maybe find some images online, and then kind of translate that into a highly stylized background study. Like, can I turn some space around me, some location, some landscape, whatever, into an animated background? That will be the next challenge. Not an animated background, but like a background that would be used in a cartoon is kind of the style I have in mind. I want to apologize for any other sound you might hear. There is some housework that's going on upstairs, so there might be some loud noises. I apologize. I do think I'm going to kind of cut off the audio here. I'm going to yap just a little bit more, and then I'm probably just going to let the rest of the video play with music. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm feeling a little yapped out. I just don't know what else to really talk about. So I'm going to prompt it to you to yap about something. One, what are some like art projects or art goals that you have? Whether, it could be drawing backgrounds, getting better at perspective, like here, or conquering a medium, like painting, or maybe you're more figure focused or story focused, composition. I'm totally interested in what you're working on and what your kind of process is or plan is for practicing. I'd be interested to hear, but also I'm not interested in people's art practices, but I'm such a nerd loser that I'm actually way more interested. What is your favorite cartoon? What's your favorite cartoon? Please tell me. And then also, like, what is maybe the most recent or most interesting cartoon you've watched? I'd be interested to hear that down below. So thank you for watching and spending time with me, listening to me. Do you like when I do voiceovers? I feel like those videos, at least based on what I've looked at, my sketchbook tours do a lot better than my drawing process videos. But a lot of my drawing process videos I don't do voiceovers for. So, I don't know. Let me know if you guys like a voiceover, if you like a yap, or if you prefer music. I don't know. I'll take in this information, but I'm still, in the end, I'm just gonna do what I want, because these videos are for me at the end of the day, and I'm just trying to prove that, I guess, to myself, that I can focus and lock in and make something. So, thank you so much again. I hope you're doing good, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. Bye bye!